All right, hello and welcome to Misfits on Vinyl. My name is Spencer Streichert. I'm an actor, comedian, and one of your hosts.
My name is Golfy McGolferson, and I golf.
Aaron just got back from the PGA Tour in Alberta.
Yes, the Alberta PGA Tour.
Yep. The pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Golf tour.
Pretty golf average, yeah?
Pretty golf average, baby. And not Golf of Mexico.
Petty Golfing Assholes is actually the name of the tournament. And I won, believe it or not.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Who are you playing with?
My sister-in-law, my sister's fiance. So, yeah, we golf. Yeah,
Nice.
It was fun. We played 9 holes.
Nice.
Yeah, and I putted every single one of them.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, no, it went well. I like golfing. It's okay. I say a lot of swear words when I golf. Yeah, and I hit into a lot of trees today.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Which golf course were you on?
Lakeview. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
over by the reservoir there. It's only a 9-hole small course.
Yeah.
City course. I didn't get into any sand though, which is nice. There's no sand at all on the golf course.
At the
which is good.
Lakeview golf course?
No sand at all. And I actually, for the first time ever, I played with one ball the entire round. I did not lose my ball.
Wow.
So
that's pretty impressive.
that's yeah, thank you. Snaps from the audience.
That's going for it.
Yeah, that's the best I've ever done. So
Okay, so how long have you been golfing for?
like 4 or 5 years.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah,
And-
I'm still bad at it.
Well, yeah, I don't feel like anybody really gets.
Well, we golfed with these 2 guys today, and they like looked like they were gonna be really good. Like fucking, they were all decked out to the nines. Like I wore this.
they had the
golfing.
fucking Titleist gear
Yeah,
on.
they had like all nice golf clubs, and then I introduced myself. I was like, yeah, like just a fair warning, guys. Like, I'm really shit. And I was like, yeah, me too. And then immediately I go up to the tee box and I smoke a drive right down the middle, like fucking 200 yards. Yeah, and they fucking went. One guy went into the lake and the other guy went into the woods.
Oh, dude, that's
Yeah,
so funny.
I was like, oh, I fucking sandbagged you. Yeah. So,
and then was it progressively better after that point too?
no, I got worse. Yeah, but that was like, yeah, my crowning moment. I walk up to the tee box like, yeah, sorry guys, just a fair warning, I'm dog shit, and I stripe it right down the middle.
Holy shit,
Yeah.
dude, that's super funny.
So I was like, all right, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take the win. But yeah, it was fun. I like golfing. It's good every once in a while. It's expensive though.
Now, here's my question for you: What's your go-to club?
Probably Commonwealth. National's pretty good too.
I hate you so much right now.
I don't know. I don't have a go-to club.
You're not gonna be like, oh, I personally like a 4-wood.
No.
I like a 5-iron.
I like my pitching wedge. There you go. If that makes you happy. I like my putter.
I personally like to use my sand wedge
Yeah, nice.
because I'm always in the fucking sand,
Nice.
baby.
Well, honest to God, the set of golf clubs I have, I bought for $30. This fucking guy that used to come into my work when I used to buy scrap metal for a living. He
Oh,
was
I remember that.
a little shady guy. Yeah, I bought him for $30, and then I take the bag home, and I'm going through the bag, and there was a fucking. It belongs to some golf course in Canmore. He stole the bag and sold it to me with a full set of clubs.
Dude, have you ever went to that course?
No, probably can't. It's like this fucking leather bag. It's really nice. Yeah, it's like a fucking $500 golf bag.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like all fucking leather, and it had a full set of like clubs in it. Yeah, I paid $30 for it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so
That's so funny. When I was in high school, I played on my golf team. I'm also not a good golfer though, but it was literally because again, I grew up in a town where everybody had to do everything because there was nobody to do
well, it makes
anything.
sense why you had a golf team. You guys didn't have enough people in school for team sports.
That's
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah, what do you guys play here? We wrestle, we golf, we have a tennis club,
Badminton.
badminton.
Let me tell you, our shuttlecock society is going strong, baby.
You got a really thriving pickleball league now.
Oh, dude, why is pickleball so popular?
I don't know, old people love it.
It's such a weird thing.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Just play squash, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing?
Pickleball is like between badminton, tennis, and like table tennis, I guess.
And squash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it takes a bouncer. You can take a bounce on it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which I also like. I mean, I will say I know very little about pickleball, but I do know that it's a lot of old people that play it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of old people like to play the pickleball.
Apparently, it's the fastest growing sport. So
That is wild.
yeah, it's like in North America, it's like the fastest growing sport.
And it's crazy because it did kind of come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
all of a sudden, I just know one day that, like, all of my friends started playing pickleball.
Yeah, one day you roll up to the grocery store and all the Vlasics are gone.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck is going on here?
I was like, okay, why can't I just have something on my sandwich?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Why do
Burgers
you guys
no
need to
more.
throw this at a wall and hit it with a racket?
Yeah, fair enough. Fucking stupid. Anyways, my name is not Golfy McGolferson. Just to be clear, my name is Aaron, and I am also one of your hosts.
I forgot about that. We went 5 minutes without
Yes.
acknowledging that
I
was.
am also one of your hosts, and I'm an actor. So I jumped on it before you did.
That's the yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I and you know what? I'm glad that you did
Yeah.
because I had nothing to say this time.
Speaking of acting in movies, I'm having a really great time right now. Currently, Sarah and I are watching. Well, she's watching Lord of the Rings for the first time.
Ooh.
Yeah, we just watched the second one last night, The Two Towers. Kind of
Nice.
funny. I was looking up the movie and I typed in the Twin Towers and it did not bring me to the Lord of the Rings. And I was like, wait a minute.
I'm gonna say something about that because when it came out, I definitely when I was like 6 years old, I kept calling it the Twin Towers because that was around the same time the 9/11 happened when that movie came out, and you know what, 6-7-year-old Spencer fucking didn't know the difference.
Zero Dark 30, The Search for Sauron. He's in a cave!
Osama be elephant.
The Elefante.
I just want to know what the meeting that the executives had at the, because that came out in 02. Like, they're like, do we keep the name? Do we change it?
do we keep it the same as the book, or do we go the second best fight in the series, but best according to Spencer?
We should probably not release it on the 11th of September.
The
just
Battle
to
of
be
Helm's
clear.
Deep. That would have been a great fucking title
yeah,
for
that's
it.
a good one.
Actually,
Could have worked great.
Could have worked great.
They stayed true.
They did. They did stay true to it. I will say this. I think that because I saw we talked about before. I rewatched them a couple of months ago, and I forgot how much I did love the Two Towers. And it was the one that I did not have on DVD as a child.
Interesting. I like the energy of the Fellowship. I think it kind of keeps its, like, Two Towers is very, like, it's got its CGI. It's very serious.
Yeah.
Where the first one is, yes, it's serious, but it's got a kind of whimsical nature to it. They're explaining the world quite a bit, that sort of thing. I enjoy it. But
So are you watching the director's cuts?
no, just the regular ones.
Just the regular
yeah,
ones.
Just the regular ones.
You don't want to go through the 9-hour marathon of each movie.
I would, but I want to slowly, I'll introduce Sarah to it, and she's enjoying it so far. So, yeah, she's like a lot of walking, and then she thinks Frodo and Sam are a little gay.
They are a little gay.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Like, okay, there's that, my favorite monologue in a movie is when Randall in Clerks 2 is shitting on Lord of the Rings compared to Star Wars. And he goes, here's the first movie, walks 4 feet. Here's the second movie, walks and, dips to the side briefly. And then he's like, are you ready for the third one? Picks the ring off, throws it down, and just goes, eh.
Well, one thing that pissed me off is they make it to Mordor, and then they turn around because they can't go through the gate. It's like, you already made it here, and now it's another fucking 4 hours of you trying to make it back. So
Yeah.
they gotta go. They go all the way back to Gondor, and then they go back. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, that it also okay. There's the moment when they're in Mordor and they're climbing up the mountain right as the gates open, right?
Yeah.
And all I'm thinking is, man, the wraiths are looking for the ring, and they can apparently smell it no matter wherever they are. And then that giant wraith is riding that dragon thing, and it goes right past them 8 times, and he doesn't fucking notice them there.
Yeah.
I'm like, but he could notice them when when they're in the middle of nowhere, but right in front of them, he can't notice it.
But it's like me when I lose my keys, and then they're on the key hook.
It is usually the last place you look.
It's literally just like that. It's exactly where they're supposed to be, and I've looked everywhere else. I've checked my pants I wore. I've fucking gone through the bathroom, and then I'm like, oh, it's on the key hook. I never put it there, and then suddenly it's there. So I get it. The Wraiths are like, oh, it's a Mordor. Shit. I was all the way over in the Shire fucking around. Just burning villages. Fuck.
Holy shit.
Anyways, enough of the Lord of the Rings talk.
I will say this: the ending of the whole thing, though, really fucking annoys me when Frodo's just like, "I'm going too, Sam," and then Sam's like, "No, Mr. Frodo," and then they fucking leave.
Sorry, Sam. I'm touching my mic.
It's okay. Play with it more.
Yeah, I already ripped off one of
Play
the
with it
strings that
harder.
Sam fixed.
Play with it, Daddy.
Ooh.
I want to see you play with it.
Okay. Now you've gone too far.
I haven't gone far enough. Okay. We should probably get into the first segment of the show.
Yes, the segment of the show.
First, we have a special segment
Yes.
that's not the album that we're covering.
It's got a new title this week.
It's got a new title this week. It's Spencer's Today in Music History.
I'm gonna Google all the music history that happened today, and then I'm gonna say it on the podcast in a funny way. Sam didn't do the music history today. Spencer said I'll do it. We said okay.
Okay. That was actually really good.
That was pretty good. That song is because the Vidos said that they enjoyed the kazoo. So now I will be Spencer Kazooie from now on.
As long as it's not like when you play the guitar on.
God, that episode's not even going to be out yet, but
No.
man, everybody better tune into the one that we do about Taylor Swift. I was working on playing the fucking dude. I was trying to learn this song for 4 months. I was doing it low key. It was you belong. Yeah. You belong me.
Yeah.
Anyways, I swear to God, I'm not kidding. I got it to where I was really happy with how it sounded and everything. Like I'm not kidding. And I was fucking around when I was at Siobhan's parents' place, dog sitting for them. I was playing the guitar every day for like 3 fucking hours, getting this song down. Started feeling confident. Started learning Wheat Kings. Was feeling really confident. Didn't pick up the guitar for like the week leading up to when we did the fucking episode. And I picked it up, and I swear to God, dude, it was like unintentionally the worst fucking thing I've ever done. And like,
They were so nice to
they
you
were
about
so
it.
nice
They're
about
like,
it.
I don't know what it is, though. I cannot tell.
And I don't blame them, and I had to just double down on it, dude. And
Is it Romeo and Juliet?
no, and that was the worst part, was them guessing what song it might be, because
Was it that one by that indie Canadian band? Tragically Hip? Is that it? Is that Wheat Kings?
holy shit. Okay, eventually at some point I will be able to play a song on the guitar, but I'm really gonna pick my fucking moment now. I'm gonna make sure that I'm really prepared for that, so that when I come on I can actually surprise you guys with it, because I felt so bad. I really was proud of myself, and then I failed so
We both have
hard.
embarrassed ourselves on this podcast. It's okay.
Yeah,
We all have.
that one was, I think, the fucking primo.
The
though.
pinnacle,
Like,
the pinnacle.
let's be real here. No one can talk. The fact that they were so nice about it honestly made it worse, because they were like, "Oh, nice try, man.
Good
I really
job.
appreciate the thought. Oh, no, don't appreciate the thought. Make
That's
fun of
funny.
me.
Good
Call
job,
me a
Spencer.
loser."
You attempted it.
Oh.
Attempted it.
Oh, it was rough. Anyways, today in music history. In what are you doing?
Stretching. I just golfed, bro. I'm fucking tight.
I thought you were dancing.
You, Romeo, and Spencer can play the guitar.
If you don't believe me,
I'm
hand it over to me.
Begging on my knees, Spencer, please don't go on. Hey, Siobhan.
Siobhan walks in right when we're reliving the moment that she witnessed live.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Talking about Spencer's fantastic guitar playing. Fantastic guitar playing.
Oh God, the look on your face
that
was
says
just.
it all.
Just
That
oh.
says it all.
Oh, I do too.
We could always make it disappear in post.
We could.
I definitely killed the microphone halfway through.
There we go.
You know what?
But
Here's
I'm
the
gonna
thing.
keep it, and so there's just gonna be a muffled guitar sound.
I do feel like here's the thing. I'm gonna say this: we can't make it disappear in post because I need to live by the fact that I did that.
I'm not touching that in any way.
Yeah, it's way too awkward for it to not be a part of it.
I love it.
Fuck.
When I'm not here, everything goes to chaos.
Everything went to shit, dude. Okay, so in 1929, the classic song "Ain't Misbehavin'" was recorded by Fats Waller.
Nice.
In 1961, the Beatles began their engagement as regular headliners at Liverpool's Cavern Club. They performed about 300 shows there over the next 2 years.
That's impressive.
It's super impressive. In 1962, Robert Zimmerman legally changed his name to Bob Dylan. We talked about Bob Dylan on the pod, too.
Nice.
In 1963, Eric Clapton quit the Roosters. In 1972, Brian Cole of Association died of a heroin overdose. 1987, Dave Stewart of Eurythmics and Siobhan Faney of Bananarama were married.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah. It's their wedding anniversary today. Congratulations to them. In 1989, George Clinton released The Cinderella Theory. 1991, Rick James was arrested in Los Angeles and charged with the blank torture of a 24-year-old woman.
Oh, that's not as funny.
Yeah, that's not as funny.
Rick James. Rick James, bitch.
That's probably what he said, too.
Yeah, probably.
In 1995, Peggy Lee gave her final major public performance. George Shearing and Mel Torm also performed at the show at the Hollywood Bowl.
Nice.
And in 2000, Madonna's video Music premiered.
Music.
Music.
That's the song, right? I think.
I believe so.
Music.
Have you seen the pictures of Madonna lately?
Yeah, I have.
They're interesting.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I like how people on the internet are like, "Don't make fun of her," but like she did it to herself, like intentionally.
Why do celebrities think that like people care that they're aging? It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
I would
Doesn't
honestly
matter.
prefer seeing a celebrity that looks like a little older,
Like their age.
like their age, not
Yeah.
somebody that's like so plasticed up that they look like, like she looks like a Cabbage Patch doll that was like drawn on.
Well, like if you look at Madonna in the '80s, she looks nothing like that.
No,
Not even like like that aged. Not at all.
no. Also, funny that her and Michael Jackson had such a beef. Dude, that's so funny to me. I don't know why, but that brings me so much joy. Anywho,
Good segment.
good segment.
That was Spencer's. Spencer's.
Spenny Speds. Spenny Speds.
Today in music.
Today in music history.
Yes, for August 2nd.
For August 2nd, yes.
Yes.
Okay, now, album that we are reviewing this week. Conveniently right there.
No way.
Okay, usually it's a popular one. Sometimes it's one that we like. Sometimes it has a crossover. Sometimes it's influential. Sometimes it's just one from the collection. And other days it's the Clash Combat
All of
Rock.
them.
Woo!
All of them. Woo!
All of them.
Lightning bolts.
Pachoo!
It's already
Pachoo!
there.
Pachoo!
Sweet.
Pachoo! Pachoo!
I love this album.
This is a really good album. I will say when we did our top 10s, this was in my top 10. It's definitely, I would say, like favorite punk album. I would put that out there. When we talked about the Sex Pistols, obviously around the same era but very different sounds.
Yes.
And something that we're going to find out when we get into the about the artist is that fun fact about the Clash, their very first live gig after they had only been together for like a couple of weeks was opening for the Sex Pistols.
Nice.
And then afterwards they all went over to a club in the city that the Ramones were playing at to watch them, which is super cool. They also, when they saw the Sex Pistols, they were like, this is the sound now? Holy shit, this is insane. And then they were like, let's make it even better. And I would say confidently over their 5 albums, they did.
Yeah. I mean, this album has one of my just like favorite songs of all time with Rock the Casbah.
Oh, yeah.
That's like in my top 50 favorite songs of all time.
That is
leaning more towards the top 25 side.
I would have to agree that it's a top one, but my favorite one on the album actually is Straight to Hell, which if you don't know, if you haven't listened to it, you've probably heard MIA's Paper Planes,
Yes,
which sampled it, and it's so funny because the original version I think is so much better, and especially because it's a protest song, and it's talking about the unemployment in England at the time because of the steel mills closing, and children being orphaned in the Vietnam War, and immigrants having their houses firebombed, and it's got all of these different layers to it, and they're talking about these politically like these social issues that are obviously affecting them firsthand because they're seeing it, amongst like their friends and family and everything. But they're also going into a wider range of the world. And oddly enough, for an album that was released in '82, a lot to talk about the Vietnam War. The album about Sean Flynn on here, or the song about Sean Flynn on the album, I mean. Who was a war photographer, if those don't know, who was, I believe, captured in Vietnam. So, it's interesting that this is also marked as their sellout album because they have some dancier pops on it. They've got Rock the Casbah. They got...
I would say it's not as... like, it doesn't sound as punk as a lot of their other stuff and a lot of punk music at the time. It certainly has, like... some funk influences. There's like, what is the drums that are all over the fucking
reggae drums?
Yeah, like bongos and shit and fucking. And
they got a huge reggae influence on the whole thing, and that's where like this album does fall into post punk more than punk. And it's definitely one of the early new wave albums too. Like it was one of the things like this, you can hear on this album the influence that like. Like Dream Academy has, or Aromatics, or like there's so many different New World Order. There's so many bands that had such an influence from this album, and you can see it because it was taking so many different genres and wrapping it up under the label of punk.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. Okay, so about the album, it was released on May 14th, 1982 through CBS and Epic Records. It's their 5th studio album. Post-punk new wave, it's the group's best-selling album, and it was recorded in 3 studios between September of 1980 and April of 82. The 3 studios were, 2 seconds here, The Ear in London, Electric Lady in New York, and Wanford in Hampshire, England. Producer credits go to the entire band as The Clash.
Nice. And
Glyn Johns. Now, Glyn Johns is super interesting because he worked with a lot of famous rock acts at the time, especially a lot from the UK, like the Stones, the Beatles, the Who, Zeppelin, the Kinks, the Eagles, Bob Dylan, Eric Clapton, the Steve Miller Band. And in '65, he became one of the first independent producers in the music scene in Britain, where he wasn't tied to a label.
That's cool.
Yeah, and what's really cool about it is he was so in demand because one of his like most influential things was that he was where is this here? Oh yeah, he was the chief engineer during the Beatles' Get Back sessions for what became the Let It Be album. Which is super crazy.
That is cool.
So the amount of work that this guy has had, and like the amount of like shaping that he's had with all of these different artists is really influential. But specifically with this album, it's super interesting because he took. So they had been recording, at first in London, and then they spent a fuck ton of time in New York and recorded there. Then they went on tour, and they were touring their album that came out just before that, which was a triple LP, right? That one is Sangritas, I believe. But the album that was before that was London Calling, which was a double album. Yep. The OG of this, when they had finished all their recording in New York, was fucking 77 minutes long. And they were like, so they get a hold of Glyn Johns, and he's like, we got to tighten everything up. So Joe Strummer and Mick Jones and him went back into the studio, and they took every single song, shortened it all, compressed everything, re-recorded some of the vocals, made everything a lot sharper. And so that's what ended up making it a 46-minute album. They cut 31 minutes of material.
That's impressive.
Right?
Yeah, holy shit.
and made it so much more cohesive too.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I would be curious to listen to the 77-minute cut. I feel like it'd be interesting to see what was taken away.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of, from what I heard, it was a lot of instrumentation that was taken away or toned down. There was a lot of solos that got cut, which I think is beneficial, because this is, I would say, the album where they got to the point a lot quicker. Yeah. You know, the previous works like London Calling it's a long album. It's a little, and you know, it drags on at times. I felt like this album, even re-listening to it like a couple of times leading up to this, I was like, it's weird how I don't feel like it's dragging on. And like, I will say, when you flip it over to the B-side, you're getting, like, after you get past Overpowered by the Funk, you kind of, it starts to sound a little too much the same. But up until that point, you have so many songs that could have been singles on their own and just weren't.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. Yeah, I would agree thoroughly. I mean, I listened to it when I was camping there weekend ago, and then also listened to it a little bit just driving around the past week. But the second half of the album, I think you're a little right. I think it kind of molds together a little bit, but the first half is so strong. Yeah, it's...
The second half of the album, it reminds me of when we covered that Jane's Addiction album.
Yes.
Where I'm like, the first half is banger singles, love it, and then it's just like, it's the same, you know? Okay, so a couple of things to note about the album. All of the songs were written as a group, with the exception of Know Your Rights, which was Strummer and Jones, and Rock the Casbah, which was Strummer, Jones, and the drummer, Topper Headon. This was actually the last album that Topper Headon was a part of the group for, because they had to kick him out before they even went on tour because of his heroin and cocaine addiction becoming so bad. But the cover photo, which I would say is like one of those iconic like band photos, it was done by the legendary rock photographer Penny Smith, who specializes in black and white photo and was known for her work on the very first Zeppelin tour.
Nice.
So
that's cool.
Fun fact about her too that I think you'll find interesting. When she was a student in university, she ended up purchasing an old train station, converting it into a studio, and that's where she lives till this day.
That's really cool.
Right?
What a spot to live.
What a fucking crazy spot to live. And the other cool thing is some of the collabs on this album. I mean, poet Allen Ginsberg is a guest vocalist on the song Ghetto Defendant. Fun fact about that, when they did their New York show, he actually came out and performed it with them. And Futura 2000 is the rapper on Overpowered by the Funk. Which is, again, another really interesting thing, because it's not like hip-hop was super fucking old at that point. It had literally been 4 years since, what the hell is the song called? Hip-hop.
The Rapper's Delight?
Rapper's Delight, there we go. Yeah. Fuck, yeah. It had been 4 years since that song came out. So they were ahead of the curve in a lot of ways by collaborating with artists that, at the time, a lot of, you know, mainstream acts probably wouldn't have been going for.
I'm not sure who this is here, but he's got a cigarette on his ear and he's smoking one.
I also am not sure who that is. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know.
I don't know which one of them.
I don't know what each of them looks like well enough to know. I'm assuming probably not the drummer, because I think he was kicked out at this point. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to mention before we get into the about the band is that the working title for the album was Rat Patrol from Fort Bragg.
I think Combat Rock suits a little bit better.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Rat Patrol from Fort Bragg. Maybe there was a song on the uncut, 77-minute long version. I can't imagine how fucking long Straight to Hell would have been in the 77-minute long version of this album.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm curious. Yeah, I wonder how many songs they cut too.
There had to have been quite a few, because even if you stretched out each song by say 30 seconds to a minute, which is, I mean, granted, I'm sure that some were a lot longer. I still don't see how you would hit 77.
No,
you know?
You wouldn't. You would be like in the maybe 50s.
Yeah, maybe 50s, like low 50s even. Okay, so the band debated how many songs their new album should contain and how long the mixes should be. And Mick Jones argued in favor of a double album with lengthier, dancier mixes. And the other band members argued in favor of a single album with shorter song mixes. And that all was a battle until they talked to Glenn Johns, and he was like, not a fucking chance are you doing a double album that's long as shit, dude.
Yeah, no way, bro.
No way, dude. And it's so funny because during those remixing sessions, Strummer and Jones also re-recorded their vocals for the songs Should I Stay or Should I Go and Know Your Rights. And the remix songs was like the reason they redid the vocals on those was they were trying to maximize their impact as singles. What I think is funny is that like Know Your Rights isn't as big of a single, obviously.
Yeah.
And Should I Stay or Should I Go didn't even crack the top 40 initially. It only got popular in the 90s because it was used in a Levi's commercial.
Interesting.
And then it got re-popular in 2016 because of Stranger Things. Because every fucking episode in the first season played that song like 8 times. And you had a whole generation of people that like didn't see the Levi's commercial. You know, we're kind of in that in-between where it's like, I think that we knew of the band for, you know,
I think it also,
reasons.
was it not in Rock Band?
It was, yes.
Yes. It's where I think I first listened to it. It might have been Rock Band. And like on the Wii in like 2007.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because I remember the start, it's like... Yeah, you had to do like something funky for that.
Yeah,
I think you might have had to hit the mic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Man, Rock Band was fucking great.
It was the best. I kind of want to like pull it out and play it again.
Dude.
I still have the drum set and the guitar.
That's where we start our Misfits gaming stream.
Yeah,
we just play Rock Band.
Expert on everything.
That would be fucking
We're dog shit.
Dude, I would still be able to do expert bass, I think, though.
Yeah.
Because bass was so easy, because, like, no matter what it was literally just 4 notes, and you would just go back and forth. And, like, you could only get 100% if you were up strumming.
Nah, the real challenge was I used to play guitar and sing at the same time.
Ooh.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, I remember I got Rock Band. I won it in a draw at, like, my local, like, electronics store. I won it in a draw, and I was so fucking stoked. And then Beatles Rock Band came out, and my grandparents bought me that for my birthday.
Yeah,
and then me and my 2 friends, Colton and Tor, fucking jammed out to it, and Tor poorly sang the Beatles really loudly.
I have a really embarrassing Rock Band story. When Rock Band first came out, I was like playing the shit out of it, right? And I was playing by myself. I was playing the drums and singing at the same time. My mom was on the phone with my Grammy, and my mom was like, "Hey, listen to Aaron," and she like put it on speaker while I was fucking. My Grammy was like, "Oh, that's so good! Like, good job." I was like singing the Rolling Stones. I was like, "Whoa, children! It's just a shot away. It's just a shot." I remember my Grammy was on speakerphone. My brother came out. He's like, "What the fuck is going on?" I was like fucking playing the drums and singing at the same time. My mom was like, "Oh, look at Aaron! Like listen to him." It's like on speakerphone on like a shitty house phone.
Holy shit, dude! That's so funny.
You know that new sound you've been looking for?
Yeah.
Listen to this.
Whoa, children! It's just a shot away. It's just a shot away. Whoa. It's like through speakerphone. Oh man, I just remember that. It's like one of those memories. I was like, oh yeah, now that I think about that, that was weird.
Dude, that's so fucking funny though, man.
It's not even like look at him. It's like no, listen. And I was probably playing like shit. I can only imagine. I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Dude, that's even funnier because you're.
Yeah, I don't know why that just came to my memory. Yeah.
I love how
God bless
cringy.
my grandma. She's got a heart of gold because she's like, oh, it's so good. Like,
Dude, grandparents are just like the best at overlooking the cringe factor.
yes. I would have like if it was my grandkid, I'd be like, oh shit.
I'd be like,
holy
oh
shit.
Unplug that right now.
Yeah. Wait till I do the unplugged sessions. Rock Band unplugged.
Dude, that's like that episode of South Park where they're trying to get 1,000,000 points on Guitar Hero, and then it's like, man, he's so good, he goes acoustic, and then it's just like Kyle fucking playing in like a like cafe, like a cafe. What the fuck, Spencer?
A cafe.
A cafe.
Anyways, that's
Okay.
my Rock Band story.
So, about the artist. Now, I just did like basically before they formed because there was a lot of more interesting shit before they formed. So before they came together, the future members were all in different parts of the London music scene. John Graham Mellor sang and played rhythm guitar in the pub rock act The 101ers, which formed in 1974. And by that time, by the time that the Clash came together, he had already abandoned his original stage name, which was Woody Mellor, in favor of Joe Strummer.
Nice.
Which is super interesting because, yeah, Joe Strummer is a way better name, especially for a guitar player. I have an interesting Joe Strummer connection. So I'm not wearing it today, but my Clash shirt, I've worn it on the podcast quite a few times. I bought it from this business in Victoria in Fantan Alley. It's this like small shop that this like British guy owns. It's got like a bunch of band shirts and everything. And I was like, oh, I went and grabbed the Clash shirt, and I go to the front and I start talking with him. And the guy's like, oh, you like the Clash? And I was like, yeah. He's like, come here and see this. He has a fucking framed letter from Joe Strummer saying, hey, thanks for putting our merch in your store and all this stuff. Because apparently Joe Strummer had family in Victoria, so he used to come to this dude's shop all the time.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool.
That's rad.
And when I saw that, I was like, that's pretty neat. Mick Jones, on the other hand, played guitar in a proto-punk band called London SS, which rehearsed for much of 1975 without ever playing a live show. They also only recorded a single demo. They were managed by Bernard Rhodes, which was a sometime associate of Malcolm McLaren, who was the manager of the Sex Pistols, and owned the store Sex. Not a great dude from everything we heard.
Yes.
So anyways, he was a friend with that knobwad, and the Sex Pistols and his bandmates became friendly with each other. So Glenn Matlock and Steve Jones, who would assist as they tried to find potential new members. They held auditions for London SS without making without making any headway on finding new members. And Paul Simon was one of the people who tried out as a vocalist, and drummer Terry Chimes. Nick Heaton also drummed with the band for a while and then quit. So these are all like, punk rockers in the London scene who would eventually, be in bands like The Jam or the Buzzcocks.
Just the band name is probably tough to recruit.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been hard to recruit in Germany.
Yes.
That would have been an easy one.
The London SS, Sam. Yeah.
I know, but I think it would be pretty hard in Germany. A lot easier in London.
During this time.
This time was a big neo-Nazi movement in London, while Germany was trying to fucking...
In the 40s, though, it would have been very easy.
Well, they
punk rock
were.
in the 40s.
Yeah, punk rock in the 40s. That would have been great.
It's a good punk rock name, Hitler's Bunker.
Hitler's... That actually is a really good name.
Yeah,
for a
it's like
punk
an
band.
album name.
Yeah,
That's a really good. Wow.
Yeah.
I would listen to that.
Could that be our rock band name?
That could be our rock band name.
Yeah,
Hitler's Bunker. That's fucking.
Find us on Twitch. Hitler's Bunker.
No, dude, we'll have to go on Kick.
They'll love
find
us
us.
there.
Find us in Argentina.
Yeah.
We're on the History Channel.
There's just so many clones of our band. Everybody's trying to copy us.
Yeah, it's true,
Dude. It's true. That's what happens when you're the number one.
It makes sense why we're the number one in Chile and Argentina. it all makes
sense now.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All of our South American viewers that listen to us are blonde hair, blue eyed.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
A lot of Patagonia fans.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the London SS broke up in the early 70s, Rhodes continued as Jones' manager. In February, Jones saw the Sex Pistol perform for the first time, and he said, "You knew straight away that was it. That was what it was going to be like from now on. It was a new scene, new values, so different from what had happened before, and it was a bit dangerous." So, at the instigation of his manager, Jones contacted Paul Simonon in March and suggested that he learn an instrument so that he could join the new band Jones was organizing. Soon, with Simon on bass, Keith Levine on guitar, and whoever he could find to play the drums, they were rehearsing. Chimes was later asked to audition for a new band, and then he got the job, so he quit.
Nice.
So right away, they're like still basically the London SS. They're not really changing much, except for everybody's just fucking leaving. So the band was still searching for a lead singer, and then he recalls Billy Waits, who seemed to be like 19 or 18 then, as we all were. That was a direct quote. Handling the duties for a time, and then Rhodes had his eye on Strummer, with whom he had made just very brief contact with. Jones and Levine had both seen him perform and were impressed, but then Strummer was primed to make the switch. In April, he had taken the opening act for one of the band's gigs, the Sex Pistols, and he later explained, 5 seconds into their first song, I knew that we were yesterday's paper. On seeing the Sex Pistols, basically he was like, everything that we're doing right now is shit. They got something fucking special.
Yeah, they're doing something different, yeah.
And we need to figure out exactly what the fuck we can do. So they approached Strummer after a 101ers gig and invited him to meet up at their rehearsal location on Davis Road. And then when he turned up, Levine played Keys to Your Heart, one of Strummer's own tunes. They gave Strummer 48 hours to decide whether he wanted to join the new band that they said would rival the Pistols. Wow, they fucking surpassed that, I think.
Yeah.
And within 24 hours, he agreed. So in West Way to the Worlds, Jones also says, I don't think Terry was officially hired or anything when talking about Terry Chimes. He just had been playing with us, and then he did not take to Strummer at first because he was older than them. He was 22 and they were all 18, so they thought he was an old guy. But basically his talent just kind of fucking overpowered everything.
Fucking geezer.
Fucking
It's like you, Spencer, in the podcast.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, we're the same age. You're older. You're an
Yes,
old man.
Fucking geezer over here.
Yeah, I'm fucking nearing my late 20s.
Pushing 30.
Pushing my late 20s.
Yeah, Aaron and I just hit our midlife crisis.
Yeah, quarter life. You're closer to 40, bro.
Quarter. I said mid.
Yeah, dude, climate change is happening. We're dying soon. Okay, so after rehearsing with Strummer for less than a month, The Clash made their debut on the 4th of July, 1976, supporting the Sex Pistols at the Black Swan in Sheffield. The band apparently waited to make it on stage before their rivals in The Damned and other London SS spin-off made their own scheduled debut 2 days later. They wanted to really show them up, which they did. Levine was later becoming affected with his position on the group, and at the Black Swan, he approached the Sex Pistols lead singer John Linden, then going by Johnny Rotten, and suggested that they form a group after the Pistols break up. This is fucking 4 years before the Pistols broke up, so kind of funny too. Hours after their debut, they met up with members of the Pistols and much of the rest of London's inner circle of punks and went to Dingwall's Club to attend a concert by New York's The Ramones. In a quote, it said, "It can't be stressed how great the first Ramones album was to the scene. It was the first word of punk, a fantastic record," says Joe Strummer. Then basically the bands all got in a fight. And Paul Simone got into a scuffle with J.J. Bernal, who was the bass player for the Stranglers, which was a slightly older band. And they publicly identified as a part of the punk scene, but they were not a part of the inner circle that the Sex Pistols had created. So there was beef there.
Nice.
And it started a big old brawl.
Nice.
I believe it's called a White Riot. Anyways, okay.
The London SS starting a White Riot.
Okay, so initially Strummer and Jones shared most of the writing duties. Joe would give Strummer the words, and then he would make a song out of them. Okay, I'm skipping ahead here a little bit. Strummer took on the lead vocals for the majority of their first songs, and further, oh God, I'm so sorry. I just lost my place
Did
there.
you jumble yourself a little bit?
I jumbled myself. I'm so sorry. Okay, on August 13th, The Clash, sporting a paint-splattered Jackson Pollock look, played before a small invitation-only audience in their Camden studio. Among those in attendance was sounds critic Giovanni D'Adamo, and his review described the band as a runaway train, so powerful that they're the first new group to come along who can really scare the Sex Pistols shitless.
Nice.
Following that, on August 29th, them and the Buzzcocks opened for the Sex Pistols at the Screen and the Green, and the Clash is that was their first public appearance since their first opening gig, and the triple bill is seen as a pivotal moment to the British punk scene. Though an Enemy reviewer, Charles Sher Murray, wrote, "The Clash are some of garage band that should be speedily returned to the garage, preferably with the motor still running."
That classic British humor.
That classic dry humor.
Oh, they're so bad they should.
They should just die.
Yeah. Oh. They should leave the motor running. Fill it up with petrol and leave the motor running in the garage.
Take your lorry, park it in the garage.
Yeah, take your lorry, park it in the garage, fill it with petrol and leave it running.
Hop in the boot, why don't you, and lock yourself in it.
Tea and crumpets, tea and crumpets.
Have yourself a cup of tea while you enjoy the carbon monoxide poisoning. It's like listening to the
Take a
Clash.
deep breath in.
It's like listening to the Clash.
Take a sip and a deep breath in.
No.
Really, really enjoy your final moments on this earth, for you did nothing but bring absolute anarchy to my ears. Of course,
Park your Jaguar.
his fucking name is Charles too. Charles.
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 So you know what I told him from the Clash, right? You know what I said? I said, park your Jaguar in the garage, fill it with petrol, have a cup of tea, and leave it running.
You started becoming Aussie, and then you went Scottish.
I don't know. I'm all of them. I'm covering all the colonies.
You should do India next.
No. I'll do my best Ben Kingsley impression, and I can knock both out at the same time.
Holy fuck. Okay, so this is a fun fact. The last thing about the artist that I'm going to say. So there's a confrontation between black youth and the police at Notting Hill Carnival in 1976, and that was super important to their development, especially with their political stances. It directly inspired Joe Strummer to write White Riot, with images of Notting Hill Carnival riots appearing as the Clash's stage backdrop and the back cover of their first album to be reprinted on badges and Clash t-shirts. It was also, like, their first album was called Garageland because of the previous comments made. But White Riot, the song, the whole point of it was he was trying to say, if the white youth gave as much of a fuck as the black youth did, shit would actually get done. So that's why the song's called White Riot, which is funny because from a band that used to be called London SS, you would kind of assume that it was going to be something a little more racist than that. But I feel like Joe Strummer did a lot to...
They seem like, besides that, I feel like they're pretty progressive.
They are pretty progressive.
Yes.
And they're definitely, I would say, more, talking about marginalized groups than other acts are at the time, especially ones that are in the punk scene, Like, we talked about it with the Sex Pistols. Obviously, they were, talking about the disparity in wealth and whatnot. Yeah. But they weren't really talking about the disparity in sexuality and your race or immigrants or wherever, And
I also feel like the Clash do it in a more nuanced and, like, in-depth way.
Yeah.
Where, the Sex Pistols are just in your face about it.
Sex Pistols are like, the Queen should fucking die!
Yeah.
Fuck the Queen! Da-da-da-da! Like, if you know what I mean! Da-da-da-da!
5 years later, 50 years later, they got their wish.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, there you go.
She croaked. I wonder if her and Sid Vicious are having tea right now.
Probably not.
No, probably not.
No.
Nah. I don't think the Queen's in heaven.
Lizzie's in a box. Lizzie's in a box.
Okay, so notable tracks and
There goes our
singles.
British audience.
There goes our British audience.
We got the Irish.
So, that's true. We do got.
Well,
Well,
actually, we don't, because
no.
Spencer keeps
Yeah,
calling
never mind.
Ireland a part of
Fuck,
the UK.
We're really.
Anytime we mention U2, he's like, oh, that UK band, right? Bono's from the UK.
he is from the UK.
Mm-mm.
He's from the
He's
UK.
from the Republic. He's not from Belfast.
Yes.
Important.
Yes.
Okay, so notable tracks and singles.
Mm-hmm.
First song on the album. It was their first single, "Know Your Rights." Released as a single. It did not chart, which is a bit of a shame. It's a good song though. It starts out very strong. Starts the album out very strong. I think. I like how it starts with, "This is a public service announcement with guitars."
Yeah, it's a little corny for the time. Now it is.
Yeah, now it definitely is.
I'm not as crazy about this song as you are.
I
It's
fucking
kinda-
love
it's a
it.
little- It's okay. Not my favorite. I think it's a fair start.
I think it's a good start to the album in that like it
sets the tone.
It sets the tone. I do like that. Anytime that they talk about how the upper class can get away with whatever the fuck they want and the lower class can't, I like when an artist does that. I'm like, yeah, you're fucking right. You're absolutely right. Actually, The Clash, it's really funny too because they throughout their entire discography, they actually haven't made a fuck ton off of their records, even though the records sold really well, because they intentionally chose to make their albums as cheap as possible. So at the time, it would be like $4.99 for a single record, right? Like that's like the lowest that you could possibly sell it for. And their double record they sold for $5.99.
That's
like,
pretty good.
Pounds, obviously, so that would have been like $15 still, but
It's good.
that's good.
Yeah.
So I think comparatively, like, not that the Sex Pistols like really had, they were talking about a lot of the same stuff, but they obviously had a much shorter career. I think it is funny that the Clash made arguably probably per capita less money than the members of the Sex Pistols made throughout it. Second single off the album, Should I Stay or Should I Go, charted initially without hitting the top 40, later charted due to the Levi's commercials and Stranger Things. Rock the Casbah, which charted at number 8 on Billboard. That and Overpowered by the Funk are really the danciest off of the album. I know that a lot of people talk about this album being very dancey, but I kind of really only feel it with those two songs. I feel like you get a lot of reggae influence in a lot of the songs. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think that it's nearly as dancey as those two songs were. Those two, I feel like you could throw on a playlist at a club even today, and it would be fine. You know. Straight to Hell, which was a full-on protest song, done very well. We've talked about what it was about before. And fun fact about Overpowered by the Funk, Pauly Mandel plays the keyboards on this track. So I thought that was a little interesting tidbit.
Who's Pauly Mandel?
I was fucking hoping you wouldn't ask.
Who is he?
I don't know, dude.
Okay, then why is that a fun fact?
Because I thought that we'd sound smart if we
Is it Howie's
pretended.
brother?
It could be.
Yeah, who's Pauly Mandel?
Pauly Mandel.
Pauly Mandel.
Pauly Mandel. Pauly Mandel, Pauly Mandel, Pauly Mandel, Pauly Mandel. Ooh.
Yeah, who the fuck is Pauly Mandel? Like you
Yeah, you know.
dropped that like it was like a gotcha moment, and I got you.
Yeah, well, I was hoping you'd just agree with me.
Be like, Pauly Mandel, yeah.
I also thought you might know who it was, and then you'd say something because I could not find anything about who Pauly Mandel was.
Pauly?
Pauly.
Who the fuck is Pauly?
It's Poly,
There it is. P-O-L-Y.
and then Mandell. Polymandell. Plays keyboards on this track. That's all I know. Are we all looking now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my. Well,
He's only credited on The Clash. Combat Rock.
Wow, what a big name.
No way, dude. Yeah, he's only credited on the Clash Combat Rock, according to Discogs.com.
You know what my favorite part
Wow.
about this is that I literally was like, I don't know who that is, but I'm going to put it in there. And then I was thinking, Aaron might know who this is, so I'm just going to pretend like I know who this
his
is.
real name is Tommy Mandel.
Tommy Mandel.
Yeah.
Tommy Mandel.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Mandel. Tommy Mandel. Tommy Mandel. Tommy Mandel.
Oh, he's got a little bit more stuff going on.
Does he have more stuff going on?
Yeah, he's American keyboardist.
Ooh.
Most notable for playing with Bryan Adams from 1981 to 1998.
Oh shit! So that cuts like a knife then.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a deep cut.
He's played with. This might be a different guy.
Might be a different guy.
Yeah, he did play on Cuts Like a Knife.
Oh,
Oh no, it's the same guy. So he's played with Bryan Adams.
nice,
He's played with Dire Straits
nice.
on Money for Nothing.
Ooh,
Yeah, Ian Hunter,
nice,
The Clash,
nice,
Bon Jovi,
nice,
David Johansen,
nice,
Peter Wolf,
nice,
Little Steven,
Nice.
Nils Lofgren, the B-52s,
nice.
John Waite, Cyndi Lauper, The Pretenders, Tina Turner, Ellen Foley, Elliot Murphy, and Hilly Michaels.
Nice, 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 nice.
You just learned.
I just learned.
Something.
See?
Learned something.
It's a good thing I put that in there.
But mostly with Bryan Adams.
That does make sense.
Yeah, yeah. But there you go. Lesson. There you go. He's from New York.
I
He was
wonder where
born in
Polly was in the
1949.
summer of '69.
I don't know. He was only active he started being active in 1981.
Oh,
He started while he was in his late 30s.
oh,
There you go.
well, that's pretty cool.
Fun fact. I just taught you something.
Yeah,
There you go.
I learned.
Nice.
Well, shucks.
That fucking Polly Mandel.
Man, that warms the cockles of my heart.
Nice.
That made
Just
my
learn something.
made my pee-pee feel
We
real
got a
good.
Canadian connection, a Bryan Adams connection.
Yeah, to the Clash,
Yeah, to the Clash.
which is good that I put it in there.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm quite proud of myself
Mhm.
for doing none of the research on that.
There you go.
Okay, so reception of the album, nothing much here, except for certified gold in the UK and Canada, and 2 times platinum in the US. Number 2 on the UK charts, number 7 on the Billboard Pop charts, number 12 in Canada. It ranked at number 4 among the top albums of the year for 1982 by Enemy, with both Straight to Hell and Know Your Rights ranked among the year's top 50 tracks. Douglas Walk said in a retrospective review for Blender that, well, the record was originally seen as the Clash's sellout move because of its danceable sound and 2 hit singles. The other songs featured audaciously bizarre arrangements and some of Strummer's smartest lyrics. Rolling Stone gave it 4 out of 5. Pitchfork was 8.4 out of 10. Spin was 8 out of 10, and Q was 3 out of 5. Like I said before, it was their best-selling album. Let's get into the fucking review, baby. All right, so every episode we review on technical, musical, lyrical, album art, reception, and does it hold up. Technical element of this album, I think it's really interesting that it was cut down from 77 minutes, remixed a bunch. I like that there was 3 different recording sessions for it, and we know that the third one was basically taking the first 2 sessions, taking everything that wasn't, like, basically just trimming the fat and then reworking some shit.
It wasn't just trimming the fat. They got full liposuction.
They got full liposuction.
Yeah.
That was a big ol', that's like 300 pounds gone.
That album was so fat it had its own TLC show, dude.
Dude, no fucking
Yeah,
kidding.
like, straight up, yeah. The Learning Channel.
Okay, I have to say this. When we were on tour in Vermeer, Gabby Rose, Siobhan, and I were so fucking baked in our Airbnb, and we're sitting in the living room. Me and Gabby are sitting on one couch, Siobhan's sitting on another, and I put on TLC, and I had none of the volume on the TV, and it's just like my 600-pound life marathon, right? And I'm sitting there watching it while I'm adding into the conversation, and after an hour and a half, Siobhan's like, what the fuck are we watching? Because she, like, finally looked at the screen, and it was this guy just showering, like, trying to shower. It was fucking great.
Nice.
That was this album, though, beforehand.
I respect TLC.
I do, too.
The fact that they dove into, like, the shittiest content and they doubled down.
Dude, they really did. After the Duggar family, they just fucking
They
went
got
for it.
90 Day Fiance, 90 Day Fiance After the Altar, 90 Day Fiance, like reverse fiance. They got like fucking gay 90 Day Fiance. They got all of the
90 Day No-ance.
Little people, big world. Little people, bigger world. Littler people in the a smaller world.
I'm still waiting on 90 Day Seance.
Ooh.
Where they.
That's a crossover with the History Channel, though.
Oh yeah.
Or W Network, because W
Yeah.
Network is all just fucking true crime now.
Yeah.
W Network has the Medium.
Yeah.
I thought that was on TLC. I thought Long Island Medium.
Long
was on
Island
TLC.
Medium is
No,
on TLC, but
Long
then
Island, they have 3
There's
other
Long
Yeah.
Island
mediums.
Iced Tea.
that's Ice-T's side project. That's his a Law and Order.
Pretty sure he has a show on
solo.
on A&E. Coco Loves Ice.
He used to.
That's what it is. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Coco Loves Ice.
Oh
That
my
used to be.
goodness.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was around
Yeah.
the same time as like Dog the Bounty Hunter and like Chris Angel Mind Freak.
That'd be the best, dude. You watch Dog the Bounty Hunter. You watch Coco Loves Ice. You watch Mind Freak, and then you get a First 48.
Oh,
Just a
dude.
fucking-
First 48 went
First
so
48
hard.
was fucking great, dude.
Oh yeah.
That was one of the best shows like to watch when you were sick growing up. Oh man, you just put that
and
shit
then you
on.
get sad because Intervention comes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, fun fact: the very first intervention on a TV show was actually on Kenny versus Spenny.
Really?
Yes, when during the Who Can Drink More Beer episode, Kenny stages a fake intervention. He brings all these people in to sit there, and that actually was watched by A&E executives, which is why they greenlit the
Interesting.
show Intervention.
I was gonna say maybe the first
Oh.
one was in The Sopranos when they give Chrissy.
I was about to fact check you on that. I was like, that can't be the first ever intervention on TV.
Doesn't Chrissy get an intervention in The Sopranos as well?
No, but like first
Real life
one.
okay,
Yeah.
Oh, I still.
I mean, this is what Kenny told
It's
me.
what you're here for.
Yeah.
I'm going based off of what Kenny told me, so
Right from the source.
I'm going right from the source.
I walk in, your head was in the toilet.
Yeah, I
Disgusting.
get my peaches out in Georgia. That's that shit.
It's my favorite line in the in the Chrissy intervention. I walk into the bathroom with a Bing. Your hair was in your head was in the toilet. Your hair was in the water. Disgusting.
Okay, so technical review. I'm going high on this one because I think Glyn Johns did a lot on this, and you know, obviously it still sounds like it's of its time, but it sounds crisp. Like it's not something that I find to be like it's obviously dated in more, I would say, a musical way than a technical way.
I mean, I don't know if this falls into musical or falls into technical, but how punchy the guitars are is like mint. I think it falls a little bit of both.
I think it falls a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I'm going 8.5 on the technical.
I'm gonna go 8.
8. Okay, so we're at an 8.25. Musically, I agree with you. I love how punchy the guitars are. Also, drums on this album are amazing throughout the entire album. There's obviously like some really heavy shit that we all can recognize. I think from Should I Stay or Should I Go, the drums on that are one of my favorite drum parts of all time. And I would also say the bass is really interesting in this, especially on some of the more like slowed down tracks.
Now, I don't know where we would balance out this too, because we talked about earlier about how the second half of the album isn't as strong. I think some of that comes in musically as well.
I agree.
So I feel like I'm gonna go a 7.5.
I could meet you there. I would honestly maybe go a 7 on it.
I think 7's fair.
So we're at an 8 now. Lyrically, I mean, like I do agree that it is his best like writing, like some of his smartest writing. Still not my favorite. I've mentioned it before. My all-time favorite Clash song is "Train in Vain."
Yeah.
I think "Career Opportunities" is up there too.
That's what Train in Vain is one of my favorite as well.
Yeah, and like I think that what I really like about some of those other songs from earlier Clash records is that the vocals are a little more clear, so it's a little more like the lyrics are a little more punchier.
Well, I honestly, like I've listened to the Rock the Casbah, I don't know how many times, but I had to Google.
Oh yeah,
Sharif don't like it. I didn't know that's what it fucking said.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea either until
Yeah.
I was lyric geniusing this.
Yes.
So here's the thing. I think smart lyrics, yes, hard to understand at times. And I would also say sometimes this band does the analogy thing a little too hard for me to go, oh, that's exactly what they're talking about. So lyrically, I'm going to go a hard 7 on this.
I'll go 6.5.
6.5? All right, so we're at a 7.75 right now.
Coming in nice.
Album art, I would rate the album art pretty high on this. I think it's it's their second most recognizable, I would say.
Yes, I think
London Calling is a more recognizable album
100%,
cover.
yeah.
But I would say that this is one of the ones that I've seen parodied a lot by a lot of artists, like a lot of comedians, a lot of when it's done in film or whatnot. I've seen this album parodied a lot, and also just the amount of influence that this photographer has had. This is probably one of the biggest things that she is known for, which I also think is super interesting. So I would say for album art, I'm probably going to go an 8 out of 10.
7.
Yes. All right, so we're at a 7.8 right now.
Nice.
Reception. I mean, it was basically 8 out of 10s across the board.
I would received.
And because it was their best selling album, you kind of got to go high with that. The singles did sell well as well. There was a lot of singles that were heavily in club rotations.
Still today you hear songs from this album on the radio.
Yeah, you hear it on the radio, in TV shows, on like I said, in club nights.
I think 8.5 is fair.
Yeah, I think 8.5 is fair. I would say, now, does it hold up? I'd say absolutely. I would say the first half more so than the second half, but I would say that the second half isn't a bad record. It's just not the first half feels like a greatest hits, and the second half feels like they're trying to have a theme with it.
Yes. So
I would say if we were going to go overall 8.25.
I think that's fair. I think that's right in the wheelhouse of where it should be. So
8.25 out of 10 for the Clash's Combat Rock. Well, that was another fucking banger. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. That was the Clash's Combat Rock.
Yeah.
Anal Contusions.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Misfits on Vinyl, hosted by Spencer Streichert and me, Aaron Walsh, and of course produced by Sam the Tech Man, Sam Lindsay. If you like us, please rate us, subscribe to us, share us. Our socials are Misfits on Vinyl Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. If you want to send us an email with any suggestions or criticisms, we love that shit, so send it away. It's misfitsonvinyl@gmail.com. We love you guys. Thank you.